I went to Japan for 2 weeks and all I got was a chock-a-block full suitcase of secondhand goodies, Japanese vintage and artisan goods. This isn't even all of it. Let's talk about it. So there's going to be a couple different sections to this haul. Clothing, most of which is secondhand slash vintage, accessories, and knickknacks slash trinkets slash little guys. TM. What's up, Zorro? I also want to do a quick caveat to say that some of this stuff was kind of expensive. This is a trip that I've been saving up for a long time, and I don't want this to come across as braggadocious or anything. So I hope you can take this at face value of someone who has a big appreciation for secondhand items and Japan, and just excitedly sharing with you some goodies. Okay, caveat over. I'll also say I posted, why am I laying like this? I posted a thrifting vlog last week all about this trip, so if you want some context, if you want a little bit of flavor, go check that out first, and then we'll meet you back here. Okay, should we get started with what one might consider the main event? Clothing. And I think literally everything here, okay, with the exception of the socks and this rain jacket, is all secondhand. Wow, I don't even know where to start. Let's just start here. I would say most of this stuff is from 2nd Street, multiple locations of it. If you don't know what 2nd Street is, it's kind of like a Buffalo Exchange or Plato's Closet, if you're familiar with that in the States. Because if you go to the vintage stores in Japan, it's almost all American and European import stuff. So if you want to get the Japanese stuff, 2nd Street and other places like that will be one of your best bets. Did this take up like the majority of the clothing space? Yeah, but I couldn't say no. Who can say no to giant sleeves? It's just giant sleeves. I love a shrug or a bolero as a layering piece. I think it's such a cool way to increase the cool factor of something simple like a tank top or a t-shirt. And this is just so dang cozy. It's from the brand Today Full, and if I recall correctly, I don't have the tag on it anymore, it was kind of expensive. I think it was like 6,000 or 7,000 yen, which is like somewhere between $40 and $50. And you will notice that a lot of these clothing items, if I remember the price, it's not like thrift store prices. It's not like they're $2. I did find some steals like that, but I wasn't really looking for steals on this trip. I was really just looking for things I loved. I told myself before we went on this trip, I'm gonna get the pieces I love in my favorite place on earth. And I think I did that. As I'm looking at this, there's definitely a color palette. It's like green, orange, black. Kind of funny how that happened. A lot of neon happening too. This was a steal at the same 2nd Street. This is an actual, military liner jacket. These have definitely been popular in recent years, and since there's a limited amount of them, the prices have hiked up. Anyways, this one has been lovingly upcycled by a Japanese brand called Rifato. So there's some really nice details of like sashiko stitching and visible mending, updating the buttons, which makes it even more valuable to me. And this was 1,300 yen, which is under $10. I believe this is from the same 2nd Street. This is one of my favorite things that I found. I was definitely looking for layering pieces that I could add to an already existing outfit that would help level it a little bit. And I loved this workwear inspired kind of traditional vest with the tie sides, the little button-up detail in the front. This is from the brand Freaks Store. There's a lot of Freaks Store clothing when I was at 2nd Street. The high neck is so cool. I just really love a versatile piece of clothing. I'm gonna wear the crap out of this. And I'm also so glad that I'm finally filming this video because we've been home for a month and I've had to keep all this stuff together, aka haven't been wearing it really. And it's time. You've been in prison for too long. Let's take a quick break to hear from today's sponsor. The main thing I asked for the holidays this year was crochet supplies. And lo and behold, I've got everything I need to start my crochet empire, except one thing. I don't know how to crochet. Well, I didn't until the sponsor of today's video, Craftsy, came to the rescue. Yep, I made that. Can you tell? It was my first project, okay? Relax. If you're not aware, Craftsy is your online resource for all things creative. Whether you want to learn about sewing, painting, metal smithing, Craftsy's got you covered. So now that I have the basics down for crochet, I'd really like to try my hand at some mittens. Get it? I really do though. I'm also really curious about this classic crochet open work class by Jennifer Hansen. I think it's probably above my pay grade right now, but I can click through the classes, see if I'm ready for them, and always come back later once I've practiced a little bit more. So if you'd like to explore learning a new skill or perhaps just sharpen a skill that you already know and love, the first 1,000 of you to click the link down in the description will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49. Valid for new members only. That's an awesome deal. So thank you, Craftsy. Check it out, and back to the video. Now this was a wild card. I was getting a little crazy. And so I got this magenta Fendi sweater. Listen, it's a great layering piece. Definitely a statement. It's a wool and Angora blend, so super soft. It feels nice and it has a little blingy blingy logo right on the chest. It's just a fun little surprising piece. And I'm excited to use it in some color blocked looks, maybe some all black looks with a little pop of pink. Fun. I think this was like 50 bucks USD. Yeah, 9,000 yen. I look at that one and I'm like, that was a stretch, but you know what? We're here, we survived, it's okay. We're okay. We're okay. Are we ready to talk about our first piece of issey miyake? It's so crinkly, I'm gonna die. This is also from Second Street, and it's this lovely turtleneck second skin tee with just the most lettucey crinkle you've ever seen. The texture, wow. So if you don't know issey miyake, Japanese designer, passed away in the last couple years, unfortunately, and he is really well known for this crinkle or pleat texture. He designed these Olympic uniforms like decades ago that I am obsessed with. Just the architectural nature of the pieces really tickles my artist's fancy. So I've always wanted a piece, and in the US it's really expensive because it's an imported good, but in Japan it's domestic, aka much cheaper. And if you get it secondhand, it's even better, baby. It's even better. So this was 16,000 yen for a very super crinkly t-shirt. Do you think I'm crazy for that? I don't care, because I get to be a Cabbage Patch Kid, and that's all I've ever wanted. This is like a forever, keep forever close to my heart treasure piece. Should we talk about pants? Now, I didn't get any pants, but you know who did? Gus. He's a certified pants fiend, and he's stocked up. So he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pairs of pants. And we'll start with this pair that I actually bought for him with the idea that we could both wear them, which we have both been wearing them. It's these tan and black checker wide leg comfy pants. We'll call them easy pants. And I love a comfortable pant in a plaid or gingham texture because that can dress it up a little bit. Just plays with the assumptions of what a tailored fabric has to be. They're so comfortable. I love these things. They were very cheap, probably under $5. I also picked these out and I was so excited, and I actually had to convince him to buy these. He was like, I don't know, I'm not seeing the vision. And I'm just like, please. Got these plummy burgundy trousers and this traditional Japanese print, and it's like a silky, almost metallic sheen to these. So cool. Love the slight visual texture, and this color kind of goes with everything. If you want to go for more of a black outfit or more of a brown outfit, a blue outfit, burgundy is always going to be your friend. All right, these are so certified cool. I was very surprised to see that these were not designer pants. I mean, maybe they are. The brand is Adam A. Rope, which I think Rope is like a boutique brand. In Japan, we walked by one, but it's these almost tuxedo or suit pants in a really thick canvas texture. But the cool thing is the balloon leg. That wideness through the thigh is so dang cool. Like, are you kidding me? Talk about taking a classic basic, just giving it a little cool spin. Ooh, I love these pants. I am jealous that he gets to wear them, but I'm also glad that I get to see him wear them, you know? Next, we've got some more military / workwear, high-waisted wool, kind of army drab or olive khaki trousers. They also have a bit of visible mending on the front, which is so very cool. I think these are a little spendy as well, around $60 or $70. And Gus is one of those crazy people that likes to put on tight structured pants so that he feels like he's like ready for the day. I'm like, are you okay? But whatever, they look great. 2 more. This is funny. Right before we went to Japan, we found these exact Levi's for Gus to take to Japan, except they were a little too big and they were cropped on the bottom. And when we got them, he's like, I wish they were a little smaller and maybe not cropped. Well, guess what we found in Japan? His exact size, not cropped. They're these wide leg Levi's in a very structured denim. They definitely kind of look like suit pants, and they're awesome. His wild card piece, he went for a bit of a fashion moment. I was so proud of him. It's these charcoal acid wash jeans with a super wide leg at the bottom. Very Japanese street style. And isn't he just the coolest? If you watched last week's video, you saw me purchase another issey miyake pleats please shirt in lime green. Did I know I was going to be coming home with 2 pleats please shirts in lime green? No. Am I mad about it? Also, no, not at all. They're different. I mean, they really are. You know, this has much of a sportier vibe. It's a zip up in the front. We've got some elastic toggles happening. There's really cool seam detail around the armpits. Just the biggest hood you've ever seen. And you can wear it a couple different ways. You can cinch it up at the bottom, let it flow loose. So I believe this was 22,000 yen. I think this is the most expensive thing I bought. Actually, it's not. We'll talk about the most expensive thing I bought at the end. Ooh-wee! Anyways, a couple more things from Gus. He picked out this little cropped rugby shirt. Look at these colors. It screams Americana Thanksgiving to me. And then, if you saw last week's video, you would have seen us find this vintage Empire sporting goods jacket at one of those thrift stores that is open 24/7 and doesn't have any staff members. You just go in and pay in a little cash box. Usually the stock in those stores is horrible. And this is the only good thing we found. And I'm so glad we did, because I don't know if there's ever been more of a Gus jacket. It was 3,000 yen. Okay, we also went to a thrift store that was only open for like 2 hours once a week on a Thursday. We stumbled upon this Salvation Army bazaar. They had amazing stuff. This was at the end of our trip, so I was like, I don't have much space left, so allow me to just get a really bulky orange sweater. Why are all the sweaters I got orange and bulky? But look at this thing. Super soft, fluffy, natural material. Definitely some sort of wool blend. With the double-breasted buttons all the way up the front and shoulder pads. It's also not super tiny, which I appreciated as a non-super tiny human shopping in a place with a lot of super tiny clothing. This says Estate de Reza, hand knit. Okay, so it's wool and Aran wool? Someone was asking in my last video how much Japanese you need to know to visit Japan as a non-Japanese speaker. I mean, you don't need to know any. You'll be okay. And translation apps are really awesome. But if you do know hiragana and katakana, especially katakana, you can do things like potentially read the fabric content of a sweater without having to get your phone out. It's more of like a nice to have. And I think it makes it a lot more fun too. The last bits and bobs. Neon orange loafers, anyone? You know, listen, when in Japan, these are 30% off of 3,300, but they're made in Spain, and I think they're just a fun little surprising pop of color to add to any outfit. Speaking of shoes, I did get some tartan tabbies. Okay, so these are not secondhand. I got these from, there's a designated like tabby store near the park in Nara, the like deer park. And the woman working there was so sweet. Highly recommend going to check it out. Lots of different colors, lots of different styles, boots, Mary Janes. I used to have a pair of this style shoe from So Kyoto, and they were just a little too small. So I was like, I want to get some that actually fit. And this yellow tartan was calling my name. I think these are also just a little surprising footwear moment. And when I saw this wool scarf at a thrift store like a week later, I forget where we were. Were we in Tokyo? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna match my accessory to my shoes. Of course I am. This was 630 yen, $4. Oh yeah, I also got some persimmon tabby socks to go with my tabby shoes. Also, at one of the hotels we stayed at, you weren't allowed to wear your shoes inside, so everyone was supplied with some tabby socks. And of course I took a pair. What are they gonna do with them? Also, didn't think I was going to be getting this many pairs of socks on this trip, but we went to like an indoor parkour park in Fukuoka on a rainy day called No Bolt. And you had to get No Bolt socks, so there's another neon orange souvenir. And I don't know if you've seen these online, but they have these crew socks at the konbinis, the convenience stores, in different colors, so we had to try those. Speaking of konbinis, also got a pair of gloves from 7-Eleven, because who would have thought it was cold in December. And also, out of convenience, I also had to get a rain jacket from Muji, just a simple guy. I wasn't too mad about this purchase because I don't have a rain jacket that I like, and this saved my butt on many occasions. I think it was only like 30,000 yen too. It wasn't too bad. And by 30,000, I mean 3,000. I keep doing that. These beautiful babies are pieces that you would use to like tie an obi belt or accessories for more traditional dressing. We stumbled into literally a hole in the wall secondhand thrift store. It was run by like a community organization in Koenji, and they just had like old toys and random fabric goods. So many buttons, so many notions. Oh my gosh. But I thought maybe I could try to make some sort of purse strap or belt with these guys. So we'll see about that. This was 100 yen, and this I think was actually expensive. I mean, not expensive. It was like 800 yen, like a couple bucks. But comparatively, I was surprised. And these I did not get in Japan, but I just wanted to tell you about them because these were my certified stompers for the entire trip. I wore them every single day, and we walked almost 100 miles during this trip. These are the Onitsuka Tiger acro mounts from, I think, like 2021. I got them off eBay because I needed the specific colorway, of course. But here's the real secret. Stretchy laces, guys. Have you heard of them? This is the same shoe tie that I did before we went on the trip. I didn't untie these shoes once. I just slipped my foot in. And if you know Japan, you're taking your shoes on an awful lot. So if you haven't gotten on the stretchy shoelace train yet, think about it. consider. Wow, that was a lot. And also, like I said, we've been back for a month, and that means that the holidays already happened, and we also got a lot of stuff for people for holiday gifts. So there are things that we've already given away and can't be included in this video. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Whoa, I forgot this. I was kind of on a scarf kick. There were just so many cozy scarves to be had. I don't know if y'all remember this, but a couple years ago, these Acne Studio scarves were everywhere. All the cool people had them. And I was like, wow, those are really fuzzy and pretty. I'll never have one, but they're so nice. Look who's laughing now. This was just like on the scarf rack in a 2nd Street. Not even in a designer area, just there for me to pick up and take with me forever. I think it was 5,000 or 6,000 yen. Not bad, not bad. And it's so cozy. It does smell like tempura, but that's my fault. Are you ready to talk about beautiful tiny little accessories? We're not even to trinkets yet, and I'm already having a hard time with so many beautiful tiny little objects. This is mostly bags and jewelry. Once again, mostly secondhand, but some handmade artisan stuff too. One of which I made myself. Should we start with the big bad bag? It's another green issey miyake piece. This cute structural contrast stitch tote and this like nylon. Kind of feels like a very upscale bagu with a little zip top and a gusseted bottom so it can sit flat. There was actually a red one of these as well. Got that one for one of my friends. I believe these were 5,000 or 6,000 a piece. I love this thing. Really durable. Like you can throw this thing around. You could spill something on it, wipe it off. You'd be fine. Another bag. This one was Gus's find. He had a crossbody bag with him, but it was tiny and he couldn't fit any of his stuff in it. So I found this Gary and or Jerry brand bum bag for him, and it has quite a bit of space in here. We saw a lot of gentlemen carrying this brand while we were in Japan. I wasn't familiar with it, but it's really nicely made, and he's already trinketed it out. We went to Kura Sushi, the conveyor belt sushi, a couple times. All that to say, he won this little guy there. I don't know who Ado is. She seems like a very sad, cute lady. And then you saw me win this for him from the crane machine. A little Luffy boy. Speaking of Luffy, we're big One Piece fans, specifically Gus. The first time we were in Japan, we went to the One Piece theme park in Tokyo Tower that's no longer open, unfortunately. But during this trip, we did find a Mugiwara store, a One Piece store. And you know, as we were looking around, it was like plushies and blind boxes and stuff. But one, all of the cool ones were sold out, aka the Zoro ones. And two, a lot of it just felt kind of like, what? I don't need this. I don't want this. And we were kind of disappointed. We were about to walk out empty-handed, like, man, in this entire store of my favorite show ever, I can't find anything I want. And then I saw this little box. 2 little boxes, actually. One Piece nail clippers. There was a green one for Zoro, a red one for Luffy. So this was Gus's souvenirs. These are so nice. They'll cut through anything. And he got the Luffy one for his brother. Kind of goes with my bag, no? Also, I was just watching my friend Bree's Japan haul video. If you like art supplies specifically, go watch her video. It's awesome. But she also went to a Mugiwara store and she also had this bag. And she also wants to frame it because isn't that cute? Anyways, let's talk about wallets. So one of my big souvenir desires for this trip is I wanted a little pouch that I could put my 100 yen coins in. And I wanted it to be cute and perfect. And that was so hard to find until I found this little oyster boy. I won it out of a claw machine game. It took me an embarrassing amount of tries and it's probably like a 30-cent item. But I got it and I love it and I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in this house. Anyways, remember in my 2024 predictions video where I was like, I think oysters are gonna be the next big thing. Oysters were everywhere in Japan. And I thought at first that it was just because we were in southern like Kyushu area in Hiroshima, like because they're known for their seafood / oysters. No, even in Nara and Tokyo, they were also huge. Anyways, I also got this. This was like a I'm gonna try this item and I'm not sure how I'm gonna like it. It's a harness bag with 3 different bags and it was only 1,600 yen, so like 10 bucks. I figured I might as well. Is there something in here? No. Now this little wallet is the most supple leather ever, and I love how when it's worn away it almost has like a greenish bluish hue. It is a little Prada baby, which watch out everyone. Does my phone fit in here? Oh, it does. I thought this would be a cute date night clutch. I'm really not much of a clutch girl, but if there's a special occasion, you know, who has this many cards? Why do you need this many card slots? It was $4,930-ish. $5. Mostly I just love how it feels. You saw this in the video, also from 2nd Street. I found this little Acne Studio scarf pin or kilt pin. If you know me, you know I love to use these as accessories, like for jewelry or to pin unexpected pieces of clothing. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, I'll add it to the collection. Really cute, 900 yen. Where do I even go next? It's all so good. Let's talk about these rings. We got 3 sterling silver rings from a recycle shop in Tokyo. And if you don't know, recycle shops are like actual thrift stores in Japan, not the curated stuff. It's like you're digging. And we found this one called Recycle Can. Look at these beauties. Got just a textured band, really simple. We've got this black signet ring, which I love a good signet ring, not gonna lie. Unfortunately, it only fits on my pinky. But that's okay, it's kind of cool, right? And then this one, I've always wanted one of these rings, these holding hands rings. So when I saw it, I was like, I want to get that no matter how much it costs. Luckily, it was like $8. It would almost fit on my ring finger, and it's a little big for my pinky. So I'm thinking of trying to take it somewhere to get it hammered out just a little bit. So it'll fit here. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, I love a good silver novelty ring. So I am very happy with those. Okay, let's talk about Risu. So this is a store in Hiroshima that was like half customizable baby clothes, but also half just handmade toys and trinkets and jewelry. It was so good. I spent like 45 minutes in there. It was a tiny store. I was just circling and circling and circling. I could not make up my mind. One thing I did get, cute little Hiroshima carp baseball coin purse. Isn't that so cute? And you just press in the buttons to open it. Love it. I love a good carp flag, so I'll take it where I can get it. Then this is the thing that really made me fall in love with this shop. So they had this corner in the front that was all jewelry made by different artisans. And I found these hand sewn organza flower earrings. Oh my gosh. They are so delicate, light as air. This kind of looks like a green bean, which I'm a big fan of. Just so cute. And I couldn't just get one. Of course I couldn't. There was a blue one too that I kind of regret not getting as well. Look at this guy. They're hand sewn. They have this like 3D puffiness. I'm just obsessed. And I bought them specifically, one, because they could be worn together, like as a little dangly set. But also there was this other artisan who specialized in metal work, specifically like bent wire work. And so I got some of these silver wire ear cuffs that I thought would be so cute worn together with these flowers. Like a little mix of metal, a little mix of organic, maybe stack them together somehow. Really cool. I'll try and link the artists down below if I can find them. Especially this floral artist, if they ship overseas. Uh-oh. Okay, one last little artisan moment. They also had these stretchy beaded rings in a lot of cool colors. We've got orange, green, kind of like a periwinkle, cornflower blue on the bottom. I thought these would be fun stacked with my typical silver stuff. Too much cute, too little time. And then, oh my gosh, this is treasure. This is from that little tiny antique store that we found in a random mall in Hiroshima. And we found some really cool treasure here, like literal treasure. It was called Togen, and there was just a bucket full of medals from sporting events ranging from the 30s. I think there's some from the 20s up until like the 80s. So there's some like actual Olympic ones. And we were in Hiroshima at the time, so just knowing what was going on there, these were really felt like a piece of history. So Gus got this. Oh yeah, broad jump first place medal, 1927. These medals were like, I don't know, like $8 a piece. I found this, which I immediately fell in love with. It was the only heart-shaped thing, and it has a little kitty, little sleeping kitty. It's also a dragon on the other side, which is pretty cool. I'd love to find a little chain to put this on. And then you may have noticed that I have this little Kewpie baby charm on my phone. It's a little Kappa baby that I actually got off eBay months ago in the hopes of putting it on my phone, but I was like, I don't want to put it on yet. It's not time yet. The morning we left for Japan, I was like, it's little baby time. And honestly, it's stayed on so well, but the phone charm was already in my head because I was like, there's no way this is gonna last very long. I'd like to have another one kind of on deck for when this disintegrates or falls apart or whatever. So I got the most beautiful one I think I've ever seen. It's this beautiful fall inspired beaded cord with a little bell. Look at that knot at the top. Isn't it so stunning? And then it has a fish charm at the bottom. And since we were there when the fall leaves were changing, it just felt very fitting, very Hiroshima in the fall. So we've got that. This is a treasure, an actual treasure. And then I think we should talk about the last thing. And this is the most expensive souvenir I bought. We made new wedding rings. This was literally the only activity we had planned for pretty much the whole trip because you had to reserve it in advance. The last time I was in Japan in 2022, while we were in Kamakura, I saw this ring making studio and it was just so beautiful. Seaside town with people in there making engagement rings and friendship rings, and immediately I was like, if we ever come back here, I want to go make new wedding rings there. So we had this trip planned, and I got a lot of comments on last week's video talking about, since Gus was featured in it, talking about him like, oh, you and your boyfriend look like you had a lot of fun. We've been married for 10 years. Almost 10 years, 10 years this year. So it felt like a good time, a good special occasion to get new rings. So in Kamakura, we went here, and it was a lovely experience. I will say it is expensive because you are working with gold. Like you're paying for the gold on top of a beautiful curated experience. And we even asked for even thicker bands than they usually provide, which like, that's not that thick. So the bands that they usually make are like basically little wires. Anyways, that made it even more expensive. But it was so fun. We got to hammer the metal, heat it up with a gas gun, file it, polish it. We engraved something on the inside. It was really magical. So this is the souvenir of the trip, I would say. And I got white gold and Gus got gold, yellow gold. And that's all the accessories. Should we talk about trinkets and little guys? All right, let us speak of finer things. Tiny things. Here are all the little trinkets, all the little guys we got. I'll start with who's in my hand. Another oyster. This guy's going right on my bag the second this video ends. Look, crocheted, stuffed. Got this at Issey. There's the Instagram if you want it. Hunchy. Anything else from Issey? This was like a little community zine that was there that I thought was just cute. It has a bunch of little comics in it. These really reminded me of the movie Look Back, which is about like middle school manga artists that made me cry and reinvigorated my love for illustration. So, no big deal. Another piece of ephemera that I just picked up at a random restaurant that I thought was beautiful. Do you agree? Art is by Takayuki Ino. Let's see. We've got a little pea bag charm. This is what I ended up getting from the hole-in-the-wall antique store that I had a very wholesome interaction in Hiroshima. You should watch my last video if you want to know more about that. I got this there and I got this there. I mean, look at that goofy little flower just for you. Can we make toe pom-poms, toe orbs a thing this year, please? I forget how much they were. They were only a couple bucks each. Adorable. I love these little guys. I think the first time I saw one of these nodding tigers was in Animal Crossing, and I was like, what is that? This is from a little hole-in-the-wall thrift store. Same one where I got the obi belt pieces. It didn't even have a price on it. I think it was like 100 yen. Got this little iron-on Blastoise patch for a whole 80 yen. It's like less than 50 cents. This might be old, but I can't tell. Cute. I got so many little phone charms / bag charms. This is one of my favorites. Who is he? Why is he forever trapped in an ice cube? This was at that Salvation Army. Nothing had prices there. You just like kind of took up what you had and they're like 500 yen. So I also got this little chopper charm from the Tokyo Tower One Piece, either the store there or the theme park that we went to that's closed down now. That felt kind of serendipitous. Chopper's my favorite. So gotta do what you gotta do. I got this little tomato charm at Book Off. I just thought this looked like a big, juicy, friendly tomato and I wanted it in my life. I found this Pikmin on the ground in a park, which like felt very fitting in a natural setting. We brought home some broken ceramics. If you go to the beach in Japan, a lot of times you'll find broken ceramics, like plates and cups and stuff, and that just feels really cool. Thought it might be nice to make, I don't know, a mosaic out of them or turn them into beads or something. I got a little blue carp flag. Location change, sorry. I'm not sorry. Oh, where were we? Ah, yes, little guys. I wasn't much of a gacha gremlin while we were there. Not for lack of trying. I literally looked at every single gacha that we passed, but I was just like, I have to need it, you know? I had a lot of self-restraint in that arena. So mainly I bought gacha like for my nieces and nephews and my friends. We've got a couple of these. They're these little ancient pottery guys. And when you get a bunch of them, they hold hands together. Isn't that so sweet? Got two of those. I believe they're the same color. There was an Oni, like ogre collection, but they look like South Park characters. So I also got this guy. That's fine. He actually wasn't my favorite. I was pretty disappointed in that pull. This one, oh my gosh. There's this ghost character and I really wanted the triple ghost keychain. First roll, got the triple ghost keychain. Isn't that so cute? Love them. I got this blind box cat stamp for a friend of mine. I really like the one in the bottom right that looks like he has diarrhea. This is also from that Salvation Army. This is not a gacha. I just forgot to show you. What's up with me and little things trapped in ice cubes? Who's to say? I thought that was very cute. What am I gonna do with all these keychains? Gus got me this little triple monkey bell keychain because he said it made him think of me. And that's cute. This guy came for free when we got those medals, so won't argue with that. Gus was also a very lucky gacha boy because there were these Tamagotchi One Piece collaboration keychains. First roll, he got Luffy, which is the only one he wanted. Well, actually, we both really wanted the Zoro because it kind of looks like a kappa, you know. But Luffy was a close second. We went to a shrine and got our fortunes. I got a bad fortune, but they came with these cute little matching dove charms. That's sweetie, sweetie pie angel. And then another example of Gus being the luckiest boy of all time. Ow, my fingies. There was also a cat One Piece collab. And of course he got Luffy first try too. At Salvation Army, Gus got a couple like tabletop toys. So he got a wooden top. At 2nd Street, I saw this little guy and I simply had to have that. Simply had to. Handmade ceramic checkerboard dish, 900 yen. Kind of expensive for what this is, but I loved it. We picked out some cutlery in Kamakura at a night market. Gus really wanted some choppies, so he got these wooden carved chopsticks. And I really wanted some wooden spoons because there ain't nothing better than eating from a wooden spoon. And look, they've got a little squiggly wiggly. I've been waiting a month to use these. Y'all don't know the stress I went through to get this little evil lucky cat from Dan to Dan. I was talking to my friend before I left and I was like, what's like your character right now? Like, who should I be on the lookout for? And they're like, oh, you know, I just love a little guy. And I was like, no, be for real with me right now. Who do you want? And they're like, well, I love this super niche little kitty cat from Dan to Dan. And I was like, that shouldn't be too hard. It took me 2 weeks to find this. I didn't need to find it. I didn't need to get it for them, but it was a quest. It was a puzzle that I had to solve. So out of the literal hundreds of gachapon that we looked at. Like I said, we looked at every single one when we passed them, and sometimes there's a bank of like 300 of them. There has to be a Dan to Dan gacha. There has to. Oh, there was. One. I found one, and it was sold out. But on it, I saw Little Kitty. So at the end of the trip, we went to Mandarake, which is like a secondhand figure anime shop. And it's literally walls of thousands of your favorite little friends, but they're not really organized. You have to go and find your show or movie, you know? I was like, there's no way. There's no way. I don't even know what these characters look like. So I'm perusing, I'm scanning, I'm scaling. There he is. There he was. That's how much they wanted for this little guy. 2,000 yen. They knew what they had. That was supply and demand, baby. They got me, but I paid it happily. I kind of want to keep it, but I got it for my friend. I'm fine. I got a body towel. So a couple of the hotels we stayed in had onsens in them. And there were lots of like personal care items you could just grab as you needed. So I grabbed a couple of these little scrubby guys because they're just nice. They're nice little washcloths. Oh, I miss the onsen. I think this is from Book Off or 2nd Street. Luffy sticker. I think we're to paper goods and ephemera. Oh wait, these are the rest of the figures Gus won from Claw Games. Big giant sexy Zoro. Look at his hair, it's so spiky. Joy Boy, Joy Boy. Oh, almost dropped it. Joy Boy. And now we're on to the final stretch. Paper items, stationery ephemera. I'm not going to show you every receipt, every tourist brochure that I kept, because I did keep quite a few. I got a pack of rice paper from 2nd Street. It was 80 yen, so like 50 cents. I thought when I opened it, it was going to be this beautiful texture. No, it's just little pieces of rice paper. But if you got a Christmas card from me this year, this is the paper it was written on. At the same 2nd Street, I've been wanting one of these Pilot fountain pens. And it was just one of those things where I was like, I just don't feel like buying it, but I want it. And then I found one for like $5. So I'm so excited to open this up and get to use it. Finally. I really hope it has a nice texture. We'll see. I saw that Cats was being performed in Fukuoka, or was it Hiroshima? Anyways, I couldn't pass up a cool cat poster. This is the cool art that we got at the unmanned thrift store by Katsuki Ikeda, and it was so cheap. It was like $1. I don't know. I thought this was sweet. Look at that car. Look at that thing. Love it. And then when I had my wholesome interaction at the antique store in Hiroshima where the woman like made me tea and I sat awkwardly with her family while we tried to speak to each other, and when she gave me my tea and my snack, it was served on this. Like this was the paper that was under the tray, and I was like, what is this beautiful paper? Like, why are you using it like a napkin? It's amazing. And she's like, hold on a second. She left, came back with a whole folder full of other ones. And she said that her friend does these and they're like poems, like kanji poems that talk about the beauty of nature. And she's like, here you go, you can have like 10 of them. And I'm like, okay, thank you. I was so lucky to meet them. That was really sweet. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with these yet. I'd like to frame at least one of them, but they're certainly a treasure. And the last treasure, well, actually, I also got a pencil at the thrift store. I don't know why, I just thought it was cute and little, you know? Last but certainly not least, we got some lanterns. Y'all know I'm a kappa fan. My favorite mythological creature. So that's what I had my eye out for the entire trip. And Gus did too. We were like, kappa, kappa, kappa. Where are the kappas? Turns out, not many kappas per capita, which is fine. It makes the chase even more fun. Finally, we were in a bookstore and we just happened to be looking at the stationery, and for some reason they had all of these lanterns there. Is that a kappa lantern? I dare say it is. So we got two. I was like, what if something happens to one of them? I need to have a backup. They were 583 yen a piece. And then I also thought this guy was extremely cute, a little goldfish, and I thought he'd look cute maybe hanging in a bathroom. I'm very happy with these little fellows. Well, what'd you think? This is by far the most souvenirs or shopping I've ever done on a trip. And I thought we should talk a little bit about the logistics, because some of y'all were asking in the comments of my last video about like travel style and basically how did I get this all home? How did I do a 2-week trip with all this extra baggage? Well, to start off, our travel style is pretty much exclusively carry-on only and like packing as light as possible. You might notice in that last video that I was wearing pretty much the same outfit in like every clip. It's because I basically brought like 4 or 5 interchangeable outfits and just changed up layers and did a lot of laundry while we were there. So that left a lot of space in our luggage. But second of all, we brought a packable duffel bag. This one's nothing special, it's just kind of generic. It is 60 liters and it does not have a shoulder strap, which I would recommend one with a shoulder strap, or maybe even one that converts to a backpack. So by the end of the trip, one of us put all of our carry-on stuff in this, and then we packed up one of our hard case carry-ons with all of the souvenirs. So yeah, there was a bit of finagling, but it all worked out in the end. So let me know down in the comments, did you have a favorite item? My number one draft pick is definitely my sporty little issey miyake top. That's a goodie. Were the prices what you expected? I had a lot of people responding in last week's video talking about how expensive the prices were, and I think that was mostly a reaction to the vintage shop pricing I was showing, because the curated vintage shops are expensive. But I will say, if you want to secondhand shop on more of a budget in Japan, there are places and shops for every price range. So if you go to places like recycle shops or actual mom and pop thrift stores, things will be like $1, $5, pretty similar to the prices you'll find in a thrift store in the US, or some thrift stores in the US. Then there are the places like 2nd Street where it's more like 10, 20, 30 and higher. And then those curated vintage shops, you gotta know what you're in for, you know? But you can find treasure everywhere you go. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I know this was a long, chatty one. If you liked this, if you like secondhand shopping, if you like creativity and art, and you haven't subscribed yet, you might enjoy my other videos. I'll be back next week. Hope you take care, even though you're very stinky. I love you, and goodbye.